Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear brother and sister everywhere in the world and everyone watching us. Welcome to a new episode of Life Choices. And we are continuing with skills needed for everyone's life. And we're still inspired and learning from a great character we have ever known, Omar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. Last time we had an introduction about Omar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. How to know about Omar al-Khattab, what are major achievements, etc. It was like just an intro. But we are continuing with skills will be needed in anyone's life, inspired by Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. In terms of leadership, communication, economics, everything. Because a character like Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, we could learn everything in life from such character. So, before we go to the episode, I just had a conversation with a friend. This friend told me that last episode he had a Muslim friend, another country, maybe Hungary. This friend didn't know who is Umar ibn al-Khattab. And actually I was surprised. If your friend is a Muslim, he just converted into Islam. Yes, fine. But for everyone who doesn't know Umar ibn al-Khattab, briefly, Umar ibn al-Khattab was the second caliph after Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, who had al-Khilafah, became the caliph after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So, in terms of Umar ibn al-Khattab was not just the second caliph. He had a vision. He was a visionary person. And for more information about many details about Umar ibn al-Khattab, his life, his relations, because we have Umar ibn al-Khattab as the leader. We'll have Umar ibn al-Khattab the father. We'll have Umar ibn al-Khattab the negotiator. We'll have Umar ibn al-Khattab the economist, especially the economist, because Umar al-Khattab was, in my opinion, and in everyone's opinion, Umar ibn al-Khattab was a great economist and a great leader. Before we start the episode, I'd like to welcome my dear guest, Dr. Ahmed Afifi. Welcome to new episode. Welcome to new episode of Life Choices.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Actually, I'd like to start this episode continuing with the last episode. We didn't continue a question concerning how did Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu utilize the manpower during his time of Khilafah as he was the Caliph.
Yes. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab had a vision, especially after all the countries that they gained going into Islam, especially, as we said, from Azerbaijan north,
yes,
Iran east, south was Yemen, and west was Egypt.
Yes.
And during that time, more and more countries joined. So when we had that, he started to think, why don't we build an organization chart or organization structure, okay, which is who will be going where and how.
Yeah.
So he started to build what we call today the job description or the job specification.
Okay, but sorry for interruption.
Yes.
For our audience who doesn't know what is organization chart and job description. Organization chart, you know, when you work in a company, you find a hierarchy. It's a box that has a name and has a title. For example, the first one above is the CEO, and then you have the CFO, the CEO, etc. The line just under the CEO and the lines after. It's like a hierarchy. This is what organization chart. And this is what Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu did. So he is the caliph and there are people under him. So it's same concept. And for the job description that Dr. Ahmed is speaking about, which is who will be doing what exactly. Correct?
Yes. And mostly that we can go to something called the job specification, which is more like the skills needed for the job. And he started to build it very simple by putting the first thing was you must be a leader with a specific build, a built body. So people would respect you more than fear you.
You mean a physical build?
Yes, a physical build, because back then it was more respected if you have a physical build.
Yeah.
So he put
Muscular, you
this,
mean?
yes, muscular, tall,
Okay.
you know,
Mobile.
muscular, and this is how they respected leaders back then.
Okay.
So this was the first thing. A second thing was that he must know everything about Islam as a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And third of all, he must, and this he must know everything about justice, how
Right.
to become just. Okay,
Mhm.
an important thing about Islam, and he knows everything about Islam because his main job description is, you must teach the people what Islam is, especially the new people into Islam,
Yeah.
and he's going to lead them in prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he must know the justice system, because when people see the fairness of Islam, they're going to join more
Yes.
and become more Muslim.
Yeah.
Okay? So he put these, then he started to put the contract. And the contract was in front of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
He would tell them, you are responsible for letting people join Islam fairly, introducing Islam in the right way,
Mm-hmm.
and the most important thing, that you must have justice. The last thing, he must not work. Most of the Arabs back then, they were traders.
Mm-hmm.
They used to work in trade and commerce
Yes.
and all this.
Yes.
All of this stopped. If you're going to work,
Why?
because mostly when I'm a leader or a ruler of a specific country, I'm going to use the resources of this country
So it will be
for
a
my own
conflict of
personal.
interest.
Yes, the
Yes.
conflict of interest right there.
Mm-hmm.
So the conflict of interest was a big major thing. And the last thing, which is part of the conflict of interest,
Mm-hmm.
Sayyidina Omar never gave the Khalifa, being a mayor, to any of his relatives
Mm-hmm.
or anyone who asked to become a mayor. Anyone who comes and tells him, I'm ready to be a mayor, etc., he tells them no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So he put this as a contract,
Mm-hmm.
and in front of everyone, he declared it. And you're responsible for all this. Then he did something that we call today the orientation program.
Okay.
Okay?
This is when any employee enters a new company.
Yes.
They make an orientation session where they educate him about the regulations of the company. It's like introduction to the company and to the
Yes.
job.
And introduction to the other employees.
Yes.
Okay? So what happened is that Sayyidina Omar either went himself.
Mm-hmm.
For example, he would take one, let's say, in the city of Madain,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in Iraq, and he would say Sayyidina Sulaiman al-Farisi, and he told them, I'm going to introduce you to them. He went himself, and he told people of Madain, this is Salman al-Farisi, if he is responsible to take care of you, and he is responsible to introduce Islam for you,
Mm-hmm.
and he is responsible to take you to justice. If he has any problem at all,
Mm-hmm.
please don't hesitate. I have daily caravans and the postal system
Mm-hmm.
that's going to take all your problems and take him to me. 1 day, 2 days, and they're going to be solved.
Okay.
So
2 days.
yes, maximum was 2, 3 days. That was the maximum.
Today we see months in courts.
Yes, yes, months in courts.
Yes.
And
Sometimes years.
yes, yes, it's so sad that with today's technology, we're not up to it. And look at this. This is what, 1,400 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. And it took a couple of days.
Yes,
Let's
2,
say
3
3 or
days.
4 days. Let's
Yes.
make it 1 week.
Yes.
With the technology we have today, it should be hours.
Yes, and you're talking about people who were introduced to Islam.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big difference between both the systems, the management system they had, the
Mhm.
religion they had. Everything was different than Islam.
I
So
believe that everything was different, but I would like to get back to some points of what Omar radiallahu anhu did.
yes,
And this is what I see the geniusity of Omar.
yes,
Meaning, first one is justice. Because
Yes.
implementing justice, this what will build the community and the society in correct way.
yes,
Because I see, and in my opinion, and I have seen it in many countries, without justice, you cannot build a nation.
yes,
So, and implementation of ABC rules of Islam it's justice.
Yes.
Even if you are not a Muslim and you are living in an Islamic country, you should receive justice.
Yes.
And this is what we see with the Coptic man came from Egypt. He was complaining to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu
Yes.
from Umar ibn al-As son.
Yes.
So justice, I see it as geniusity, and I see a vision in Umar. Umar was, I see that he was naturally born visionary person.
Yes.
This is why he was able to lead the Ummah.
Yes.
Because
Was.
always I see that the leader should be visionary. Why? Because he sees the path.
Yes.
And usually it is a hidden path that
Mhm.
I see, and I believe that no one can see but the visionary persons only.
Oh, yes. Yes, this is true.
So by being a visionary,
Mhm.
and because his nature was correct and right, plus the education and raise he received from Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam,
Yes.
so he became Umar ibn al-Khattab, the master.
The master, yes. Yes. Actually, part of the job specification I was talking about,
Mhm.
that it is better that this person would be more living either close
Mhm.
or worked or did something to that city before. For example, I said Sayyidina Salman al-Farisi,
Mhm.
he went to Madain. Actually, Salman al-Farisi came from Faris, or
Okay.
Persia,
Mhm.
okay, which is Madain
Mhm.
back then, and they spoke Persian, and he was the perfect person for that place, okay, and he used other Sahabas to go to the cities where they came from and to become leaders of that, as long as they fit the job specification that we spoke about, and they agreed on the job description
Yes.
that was written there, and they agreed on the agreement between them and Sayyidina
Mhm.
Umar radiallahu anhu.
Radiallahu anhu.
And then he put the evaluation system.
Which is, I see this as the most crucial point,
Yes.
to evaluate their performance as leaders.
Yes. It's very, 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 very important and very hard. As we spoke about leadership styles last time,
Yes.
and we spoke about the last one, which was the laissez-faire. The laissez-faire. The laissez-faire is when the leader leaves the younger people or the people under him to work and do whatever they want, and he would receive reports.
Yes.
Actually, Sayyidina Umar did that with them. Each one of them is responsible for a city or a state.
Mhm.
But there's 100 lines under that. The 100 line is, number one, he will receive mail daily from the people.
Mhm.
Then if that person comes to Medina, which was the capital of the Islamic world,
Yes.
he was
As a central.
It was the central and the capital.
Mhm.
So whomever came
Mhm.
must come in the morning in front of everyone. All of their money before they became the ruler must be counted, and they
Okay.
must know. Okay, everybody must know how much they had. Okay,
All right.
and they used to get compensated
Mhm.
monthly
All right.
for their work.
Mhm.
And Sayyidina Umar did himself
Mhm.
the evaluation, and he used to go there secretly
Yes.
or non-secret.
Okay.
And during Hajj, as we said last time,
Yes, he turned Hajj to be an annual conference
Yes.
where he evaluates
everybody.
the leaders
Yes.
that he already appointed to their positions in front of everyone,
Yes.
all Muslims who went to Hajj.
Yes.
All right?
And that was
Yes.
Mm.
And before we continue this, we have a phone call from Abdullah from Egypt. Hello, Abdullah.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum, Abdullah.
Alaikum assalam.
Shall you please
I
raise
would
your
like
voice a bit, Abdullah?
Sorry?
Shall you raise your voice, please?
Yes, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, I just like to thank you guys about this very interesting topic
Thank
that we really need to discuss and to spread the culture about Sayyidina Umar as a leader nowadays.
Yes,
And it would be very, very interesting if you tackle the idea of the political system and the economic system that Omar established at the beginning of that time, and how, because I believe that we Muslims nowadays, we need to applicate these kind of modules of the political systems and the economical ones as we need it nowadays.
Yes.
It'll be very interesting.
Sure. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abdullah. And as we said in the beginning of the episode, we will have Omar the leader, we have Omar the father, Omar the politician, Omar the negotiator, Omar the economist.
Yes.
I think what our friend Abdullah needs to know about this, and as I said, the geniusity of Omar, that we can learn in all aspects of life from Omar.
Yes.
Radiallahu anhu.
Yes.
Right?
Radiallahu anhu. Oh,
So,
yes.
yes, and so our friend Abdullah, if you stayed with us in Life Choices, we will have later episodes about Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiallahu anhu, in all aspects of life, the social, the political, the economic life either. So we'll have the whole life of Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiallahu anhu, in terms of day-to-day activities. We'll not speak about things that we cannot implement in today's time, but will be in terms of day-to-day activities that we Muslims can implement in our daily life. And it will be easy for everyone. Thank you, Abdullah, and thank you for your call. So back again, Mr. Ahmed.
Yes. So mostly we're talking about, today we call it the employee evaluation or the performance appraisal.
Yes.
And currently we have something called, you hear today about the 360-degree system.
Yes, many names actually.
Yes, many names. And back then it was very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And the people you rule are evaluating you.
Yes.
And your manager is evaluating you.
Yeah.
Okay? And there's a comparison between you and the other mayors or state leaders. And it was very, very, very important.
Actually, concerning this point,
Yes.
because I see a governor in a certain country, he does something similar to this. He has every year all the ministers in one conference. It's annual conference. And every minister to show the achievements versus the plans.
Yes.
So it's like a P&L or actual versus planned.
Yes.
To tell we had a strategy or a plan to implement 1, 2, 3, and this is what we did in real.
Yes.
So every minister, they are like in competition. Everyone wants to be the first, and everyone wants not to be blamed in front because it's public.
Oh, yes.
Conference.
Yes. Yes. And this is one of the things that Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu did. And because of this, all the states did their best to become number one.
Yes.
And all of the mayors or the people responsible were very careful with their justice system, etc.
Yes.
And at the same time, Sayyidina Umar was standing beside them. Okay? Yes, if a person had a problem, he would bring the mayor or the ruler, and he would really, as we say today, give it to him.
Yes.
You know, he starts to shout to him, he starts to guide him. Okay? And this is part of his training.
Yes.
Okay? That he's guiding every one of them, and he's showing them what he's doing so they would do, leading by example.
Yes, this is what the leadership of by example, and this is the balance.
Yes.
So I'm not only against my leader for the favor of the people, but I'm also guiding the leader, the governor, in order to make the life of the people better.
Yes.
And this competition, I see in my opinion, it was a competition for making the life of the people in the Islamic world better.
Yes.
So
yes.
who wants something better than this?
Yes. Who else? And they would get extra compensation for this.
Yes.
They would get extra compensation. They would get better, something better, you know, better position, more land to control, etc.
Yeah, I see.
And this was the most important part, okay? And the best thing is that Sayyidina Umar didn't only use men, he also used women, okay? Like Shifa bint Abdullah,
first woman
yes,
to officially
have a government
hold
job.
a governmental job.
Okay, the historians actually about this part, there was a difference with the historians.
Oh, right.
Some historians, one actually said that she was responsible of the monitoring the market. Of the market.
Yes.
Okay, but most of them said no, it was her son. Okay, so this was most of the historians.
All right.
Okay, but she had another job, which was better.
Mm-hmm.
There was no better job. Okay, but her job was mostly to give Sayyidina Omar point of view, from a woman's point of view, of what is happening with women and families. Okay,
Okay.
and she got paid for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are the problems that are women facing, etc. Like one night, Sayyidina Omar heard some women,
Yes.
and they were talking about
Missing their husbands. in
missing
war.
their husbands,
Yes.
and he sent her to them,
Yes.
and she sat with them and she talked,
Mm-hmm.
and she told them they are missing their husbands.
Yes.
So he went to his daughter,
Mhm.
Sayyidah Hafsa, which was married to Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and she told him, he told her, what do you think and what do you recommend? How long would a woman stay away from her man? And she said 70 days would be the maximum number of days. So he gave an order that all the men who went to introduce Islam and or who were fighting against the Byzantines and the Persians, they would go fight maximum 70 days and they would come and the exchange would happen.
Yes.
Today, in the labor law and the military law of Egypt, I don't know about the rest of the Islamic world, but I know in Egypt, it's the maximum number of days is 70, okay, in the military and in the labor law for somebody to stay away from his wife. Till today, we're talking about 2014.
Actually, this is how I see another geniusity of Omar, because this is something that was not written in the Holy Quran or in the Sharia, but they faced a problem.
Yes.
And when the mother or the woman is complaining for something, this is crucial for the society, because who is taking care of the kids? The mother?
The mother, yeah.
And the father.
Yes.
So, and now only the mother, because the father is in the army.
Yes.
And he faced a problem. What did he do? He collected data and he started to consult some people
Yes.
who are experienced in such issue, and they introduced a solution to this problem.
Yes.
And this is how I see a geniusity of Omar.
Yes. Yes.
And it is very simple. I see it as genius and simple.
Yes. Yes.
You collect
Actually,
data, you analyze these data, and you produce solutions for this problem through the data you already collected.
Yes. Another part of his geniusity was Sayyidina Sa'd ibn al-Waqqas. Sayyidina Sa'd led, he was in Medina, and while he was in Medina, the army was led by Sayyidina Abu Ubaidah, not Sayyidina Abu Ubaidah. Okay, Abu Ubaidah was different, and he lost and he died in the battle in Persia.
Okay,
because they faced the elephants.
Yes.
Okay, the Persians used elephants, etc.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, let's use. A consultant, I can't remember who, told them, use Sayyidina Sa'd. Sayyidina Sa'd had excellent military experience. So what did Sayyidina Sa'd use? He used camels against the elephants.
Yeah.
They're tall.
Yeah.
And because of this, the big battle of Qadisiyah happened, and Sayyidina Sa'd won. And it was the battle before last, okay, before the Persian Empire would fall.
Yes.
And after that, in one of the cities in Iran, over there they started to complain about Sayyidina Sa'd, even though Sayyidina Sa'd did nothing wrong. And the people started to complain. The problem is, this man, he's unjust, etc. And during that time, Sayyidina Umar made a DA, what we call today a DA, a district attorney.
Yes.
It was Muhammad bin Sulaim bin Muslima. And Sayyidina Muhammad bin Muslima, he went to there and he made an investigation.
Okay.
And they discovered that he did nothing wrong. But the problem was the communication between him and those people in that city.
All right.
At the same time, the Persians were preparing a big army in Pakistan today. North India. And because of this, Sayyidina Omar decided to remove Sayyidina Sa'd and to put somebody else who's more flexible.
All right.
Okay? And Sayyidina Sa'd returned back to Medina so he wouldn't hurt him. He told him, I want you back to be my personal consultant in things. And he sent another man, and because of this, these people did not make a revolution against the Muslims while the Persians were going to attack.
Yes. That was very smart, and I see it's very flexible.
Yes.
And why I see that the main reason with all the tactics and movements that Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu did in every aspect of life, in terms of social, political, economical, everything.
Yes.
Even in time of war, because he had a certain vision, and he was seeing this vision, and he was making like chess or mechano. We have a problem here. We can transfer this instead of this. But why? In order to complete the whole picture.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this is what asserts on that everyone should have a goal in his or her life.
Yes. And
by having this goal, you will have the alternatives. Sometimes you will have problems. And you'll have something that it is not planned for it to happen. But by thinking, you will have alternatives. So you will see what is the best to do in order to achieve your plan. You are making changes. And this is what Omar did with geniusity. Because we see that Omar was leading a whole ummah. We are speaking for our audience, everyone is leading his own life.
Yes. Yes. So what's happening is that Sayyidina Omar did all that, what we call today a complete human resources system.
Yes.
Okay, which is in some companies today, and some countries don't even do that. They don't do that anymore.
Yes.
And
I see that.
Yes. And what's happening is that he started to create other management systems and other what we call houses, dawawin.
Yes.
Okay, and one of them was the army. And the army diwan was made so that he collected all the names of the young men who are going to go to the army, etc. And it's like recruitment also.
Yes.
And the most important part was that he collected all the information about them. And whomever had, like, for example, he's the only child, and he's taking care of his old mother and father, he refused to take him.
Yes, I see, and this system is being sometimes implemented here, because if you have a son and your father, you are the only son, and your father exceeded the age of 60, you are exempt from going to the army.
Yes.
Yes, and I see this as geniusity and kindness at the same time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this is in terms of how Omar utilized the manpower he has as a resource, the human resource that Omar used with geniusity.
Yes.
Right? So before we turn to the leadership, more about the leadership of Omar, we'd like to take a phone call from Ismail from Egypt. Assalamu alaikum, Ismail.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, we hear you, brother.
Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'm very pleased actually to make a contribution to this great man of all time, Omar radiallahu anhu. He was a great person, and until today we all remember him for what he did, in the interest of strengthening this religion. Omar is one of the great examples that every leader, whether today or tomorrow or in the future, should imitate. We read about Umar's, contribution to Islam. Since he came into Islam, he accepted Islam. He migrated with the Prophet to Medina in that particular difficult moment. He spent all that he had in order to protect the Prophet and to protect this religion. So Umar's values are very much great, and we hope Muslim Islamic countries and Muslim around the world could imitate the values of this great personality.
And I'm very happy actually that the speakers have been mentioning the things that actually this particular man has done in the interest of serving the religion and serving God. So it's a good topic, and I'm still following it, and I hope that everybody who listens to this particular segment will learn more of the values of Omar radiallahu anhu. So this is all that I wanted to contribute in this moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ismail. Thank you so much. So speaking of the values, because we already displayed a competency model, this pyramid we already introduced before, and we are following these competencies and values inspired by Omar, because I saw some examples that could affect the Islamic world these days, because myself comparing today's Islamic world status to Omar's time, and I see myself, I'm not satisfied with what we are now comparing to what we were.
Yes.
Because the benchmark is always there, right?
Of course.
Yes, and we see that if we started to learn from our origins, our ancestors, Rasul, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the ultimate, and then Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, and then Omar. Especially these days, we need Omar.
Yes.
And everyone in the Islamic world, in the Ummah, could be Omar.
Yes.
Not 100% Omar or not all Omar, because we are in different time, but we take the ideas and the concepts of Omar.
Yes.
Like being a visionary, like justice, implementing justice.
Yes.
And this is not Omar to the whole Ummah. Just be Omar for your family.
Yes.
Because everyone, if he became 1% of Omar in his family or inside his home, the Ummah is being shaped by families and individuals.
Yes.
So if we have many Omars, the Ummah will move forward.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this takes us to the point of how Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu led the Ummah.
Yes.
Because it was a very, very huge task. I cannot imagine it all, because it needed a real genius character like Umar.
Yes.
And he had some values. And through the values, he already was able to lead the Ummah. Myself, I see not a value but a skill. Umar was a visionary.
Yes.
Right? And this is what every man in the Islamic world should acquire,
Yes.
this skill. Some people are naturally born visionaries, and some need to work in order to acquire it.
Yes.
Right? So being a visionary, it's for every father, for every brother, for every son.
Yes.
You should have a vision, and this is what we have discussed before.
Yes.
And this takes me to a quote said by Omar. He said, بئس الوالي الذي اهتم بعهده وليس بما بعده. Meaning, the worst leader or the caliph who takes care of his time and neglect what's being for later.
Yes.
This comes the vision through. So you should have a long-term vision to serve what is after you, because the humanity continues.
Yes.
So what Omar did, radiallahu anhu, it was not for his time.
Actually, yes.
It was for later generations.
Yes. Yes.
And this is how a person being a visionary, because I see that some of our audience ask, how do I become a visionary? Simply, if you are a father, work for your children. Make the future for them.
Yes.
If you are a son, now make a better future for your parents and your brothers and sisters.
Yes.
So this is how you become a visionary, right?
Yes. Most important that if you want to become a visionary, you have to start with yourself. What is there for tomorrow?
Yes.
What am I going to be in 5 years? What am I going to be in 10 years? Am I going to stay in the same place where I'm working?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be, let's say that you're in college. After 4 years, what are you going to be? Okay. What else would I need to make me more accepted in the market?
But this is, sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Yes.
But this is in terms of the profession of everyone.
Yes.
I would like to turn it into what am I going to provide to the Ummah 4 years later in terms of education.
Yes.
More skills I have to acquire, more values. Where am I from the Islamic methodology that is being discussed in details in the Holy Quran? So I see this as the ultimate, because I see that every Muslim should be working towards one message, which is the message of making the Islamic world better.
Yes.
And everyone in his field.
Yes. But there's something important. You have to look at, what I'm saying is that when you look at it as a professional point of view, okay, this professional point of view would help you out in making more, okay, introduction to Islam, and by working the right way. For example, let's say that I'm working in a company.
I agree with this, but sorry, before the example, we'll go for a short break.
Okay.
And we come back with the example.
Okay.
Please, everyone, brothers and sisters, stay, don't go anywhere. We're continuing with Omar the leader. We'll go for a short break and come back.
Imam al-Nawawi, may Allah have mercy on him, have indeed did a great and a tremendous job in compiling some of the most beautiful ahadith and relevant ayat in one of his marvelous works, which is known as Riyadh al-Salihin, or Gardens of the Pious. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all amongst the dwellers of Gardens of the Pious. Jannat al-Na'im. Allahumma ameen.
Humans to be the best and give his best religion to them. Rasulullah, Habib Allah. Allah, our God is the greatest. The one and only glory to him.
TV commercials motivate viewers into immediate action and to sway consumer loyalty from one brand or service to the other. That's why we're here for you, to help you sell your products and services by using creative ideas that bring life into your own TV commercial. Advertise your business and branded products and services on Huda TV. We will offer you fast-paced and energetic 30-second affordable TV spots. Advertise on Huda TV. Acquire fresh customers and stay within your budget. For more info or to receive a quote, please send your inquiries to advert@Huda TV. Huda TV.
Welcome back, dear brothers and sisters, for part 2 of Life Choices and Omar, the leader. We continue with Dr. Ahmed. So
Yes.
you were about to say an example before the break.
Yes. The example that I'm going to give is that when Muslims became very good in commerce.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were going around professionally. They were perfect. Okay.
Yes.
So they were selling their goods to Indonesia, Philippines, and Malaysia. And while they were doing that, they started to introduce Islam because their tribes had problems together.
So it
And
was
with
Islam through the commerce.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is what I meant.
Yeah.
you become professional, you know yourself, etc. And when you become so good, people are going to ask, what's this person's religion? Why is he so good? Why is he so honest? Why is he... You know, when you know yourself and you have a vision for tomorrow, you're very, very, very good. People would love to know you more.
Yes.
And when they know you more, they would like to know
more about you.
Yes, and how did you become like that?
Yes.
They're going to say, oh wow, this person, he prays 5 times a day, and when does he have all that time?
This is the secret.
Yes.
The ingredient.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is how it goes.
Yes. So, and this is, I see it, it's something perfect for everyone, because we all work in different fields. And your profession could be a gate for non-Muslims to enter Islam. And this is asserts on what we said before. Every Muslim is an ambassador to Islam. So, concerning, I see that Omar led the Ummah in different methodologies, through different situations, I see. Because when I was studying Omar's history,
yes,
I see different, I cannot say different, but genius and different character in every situation. And this is what, in today's language, sometimes we call it situational leadership.
Yes.
So, what are the methodologies that Omar used to lead the Ummah? Because when you have an Ummah, you have an army, you have an economy, you have social life. How to lead all of these? It's like handling 100 rows in one hand, or couple of hands, and you are making these 100 lines to make progress. And he didn't just make progress, he did miracles.
Yes.
So what could be the methodologies of Omar used to lead the Ummah?
Okay, first of all, when we're talking about Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he used a very, very simple, what we call simple and complex.
Yes.
Okay, methodology, which is he monitored everything himself.
Yes.
Okay, which holding everything by his hand. Then he started to empower leaders under him. Okay, and this was the second methodology. Empowering, yes, empowering people, delegating to people that you would trust, and they are able to do the job.
Yes.
Okay, so he started to put them here, here, there. Okay, and he gave them the freedom of choice of leading. But the most important thing, Quran is your constitution.
Yes.
You never change that. And you must teach the people more about Islam. So he put that rule. The way you rule, justice is very important. So empowerment gave the people the first method of leadership, okay, or the second method. The first one is vision.
Yes.
Okay.
Being a visionary person.
Yes, he's very visionary. So the first thing when you're doing a leadership methodology, you have to be very visionary. Then you have to be, you have to put empowerment for the people. Then
empowerment and monitoring yourself.
Yes.
Because I see that he used to walk into the streets, even in the night, to make sure that everything is okay, if someone is complaining. Because the woman she was suffering because her husband was away, because he was walking and he listened her. So this happens because he was there.
Yes.
And this is for every leader at your home. If you are a father, if you are a caregiver, you need to be there. Be there in every single situation and action. And I call this monitoring.
Yes.
So monitoring by being there.
Yes.
This is how you monitor. Because you see, how come you are not there, and you will see. Right?
Yes. The third thing is communication. Communication is very, very, very important as a methodology for a leader.
Okay.
And communication is by using listening, not hearing, listening. Okay, you have to listen carefully, and you have to visualize everything that's happening around you.
Yeah.
And we add to this the monitoring. Plus, as we said, the postal system that he made. The postal system, and he used somebody like Sayyidina Muhammad al-Muslima to go and to see what's happening in those cities, and he went himself.
Yes.
Okay, so the communication was there, and his door was open. What we call today in one of some companies, they get all happy and they say, "We have an open door policy."
Yes.
Okay, he had an open door policy.
Yeah.
He said, "People, if you have anything, just come to me.
Yes.
We will discuss it." And he used to, for every problem, he put a vision, long term, short term, and how to solve it.
Yes.
And there
Also
are
with justice. Justice was the
Yes.
backbone.
Justice
And the
is the
Coptic man
backbone.
is a real example for
Yes, yes, the Coptic man. And another example was when he was moving at night, he was walking at night, and he heard the two women who were making the milk.
this. Yes.
Okay, and the one woman, she was talking to her daughter, and she was like, "We'll add water to the milk."
Yes.
And the daughter said, the mother told her, "Don't worry, Omar is not around." She said, "Yeah, Omar is not around, but the God of Omar is around."
Yes.
So when Omar heard that, he married her to one of his sons.
Yes.
That woman, that daughter. Why? Because she was just, and she was afraid of the God of Omar.
Yes.
Okay, so we said communication. After communication, you were talking about what else?
In order to summarize it,
Yes.
we had vision,
Yes.
so being a visionary.
Yes.
We have the situational leadership, that's what we call today, because every situation differs.
Yes.
Related to the situation, its criticality, and the people involved in this.
Yes.
So, vision, situation,
Yes.
leadership,
Absolutely.
and communication,
Communication. Yes.
and empowering.
Empowering. Yes.
So, how to empower people under you, because you cannot handle everything. You have people under you to implement the
Yes.
job, and you monitor their performance.
Yes.
So, I see that if we implement this model on a family,
Yes.
so the father empowers the mother or the the elder
Yes.
son or
Mostly the
daughter
elder. Yes.
to take care of their brothers and sisters.
Yes.
While he's away, he's traveling for a job or for any reason.
Mm-hmm.
And he monitors the performance and he intervenes.
Yes.
So because this could be interpreted by people, they throw the responsibility,
Yes.
which is not the case.
Of
Monitoring and empowering is something, and throwing the responsibility is something else, which is very dangerous. And I see it destroys communities.
Yes. What's happening today in all over the world?
Yes.
The man who would leave the home and he would
Yeah.
go work somewhere.
Sometimes he's there, but he's not there.
And he's not there, yes.
I
And
see
on
this.
the other hand, the same thing with sometimes the mother is the
Yeah.
same. You would find her, she's working all the time. She
Mhm.
comes back, she's too tired.
Yeah.
Or sometimes both of them, they get a divorce and leave the kids.
Yeah.
And the older one gets too much responsibility, you know, so you
Both
hear
should
it.
be there
Yes.
at same time.
All the time.
Yes.
Yes.
So these were the methodologies that Omar did.
Yes.
But I would like to go for something that it's in the personality of Omar,
Mm-hmm.
or did Islam did this to Omar. About Omar's leadership
Mm-hmm.
before and after Islam.
Yes. Yes. Actually, before and after Islam, historians have said that Sayyidina Umar didn't change much.
Mhm.
Okay.
Justice was justice.
But yes,
Mhm.
justice. He was very just. He was known as El Farouk.
Yes.
He was very just. He was a diplomat before
Mhm.
Islam. He
Yes.
was one of the nobles of Mecca,
Yes.
and everybody respected him.
Mhm.
Okay. But what Islam did,
Mhm.
it led him to the right path. And this is why Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said always, Allah please provide us with one of the two Omars.
Yes.
Okay. And when he said that, he wanted, because this man is one of the nobles,
Mhm.
and he's very just. Okay.
Yeah.
So his personality didn't really change because he
Yeah.
stayed the same.
Mhm.
Even before he became a Muslim, he was tearing inside of him. He knew that Islam was right.
Yes,
And
I
the
see this. And
and
this is
the
why he turned
stone-
into Islam.
Yes, and the stone worshipping is
Mhm.
wrong.
Yes.
And he was like, if I become a Muslim,
Mhm.
perhaps Mecca is going to turn into civil war.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are going to join because of me.
Yes. I
So
see.
Mecca is going to divide into two.
Mhm.
So he was afraid to become a
So-
Muslim because of this.
So I see this, that Islam came to, Omar didn't change much, but Islam came to make Omar better.
Yes, yes,
So
it made him a
put
lot better. Yes,
methodologies to Omar.
yes,
So if you are speaking in 3 minutes
Yes.
about what are the leadership qualities in every man in the Arab world, in the Islamic world,
yes.
should learn from Omar.
Okay, well, first of all, you have to be, as we said, the communication.
So
It's
we
very
learn communication,
yes,
we learn vision,
vision. Yes,
and how to be a visionary. You have to think of the later generation.
Yes, you have
So
to
communication,
think,
visionary.
and most of all, very important, the resource utilization. All the kind of resources.
Yes, resource
Okay.
utilization, also responsibility.
And responsibility.
And
That's a
knowing
major. That's. I'm not going to say it's part of your blood if you're going to be a leader.
Yes.
Responsibility is a major.
But
and
I see,
yes.
sorry for interruption, but I see some people, they love the responsibility, but they cannot carry it.
Yes.
So
yes.
these are the people who are seeking or asking for the power.
Yes.
This is why we said Omar didn't allow people who were saying, I'm ready to be a leader. No, he said, you are not.
You're not.
Just seeking
Yes.
power.
And the most important thing is justice. There is no difference in the law in front of everyone between the very poor person or the very rich, or the
Yes,
person
justice
who's
is
the
justice.
son of a politician and the person who's just from the public.
Even
Okay.
if he was from another religion, and as we saw with the Coptic man from Egypt.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Another religion, another aspect, there is no difference.
Mhm.
And these are the most important. I mean,
Yes.
just not just 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I see. This was just a hint, and it was like a water drop in the sea of Omar's qualities of leadership. Wish you enjoyed tonight's episode of Life Choices by Omar the Leader. We'll be continuing with Omar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu as a character to learn everything from and be a better person, actually a magnificent person. Thank you so much. See you next week. And before we end tonight's episode, I'd like to thank Mr. Ahmed Afifi for you and for your knowledge. Thank you
Thank you
for
very
having
much. Thank you for
me.
having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and see you next week.
Chances, dreams and goals, many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals, many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man.